Here's something that is movie related. So this is my favorite story about my friend Rick. His favorite movie is Jaws. So he has 4 daughters, but his youngest daughter, from an early age, she would always watch Jaws with her dad. And I was like, God, that's just. I mean, I know it's PG, but it's for a little child, it's probably a little too much. So anyway, he takes her to Universal for the first time, and during this period of time, there was a Jaws ride there. So you're in the little makeshift river, and there's a tour guide talking, and then you hear the da-da-da-da, and then this big mechanical shark jumps up out of the water. So when that mechanical shark jumped out of the water, she screamed bloody murder, and she ran into her father's arms, and she was like, "We're all going to fucking die." And Rick is completely horrified, and the boat is filled with other, like, tourists, and he's like, It's hysterical. Anyway.
That's funny. Childhood vulgarities.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
Do you think? Is there a movie that you saw that, in retrospect, do you think you might have seen too young?
Oh, I was, probably a lot of them because.
Oh God! Oh my! Where do you want to start?
I went to I got my education at the drive-in. So my parents, who were very young when they had me, and they weren't quite hippie. They weren't hippies at all, really. But they did have sort of a kind of an attuned sense of, like, not shielding me away from a lot of stuff. But anyway, I saw lots of horrible movies. Eaten Alive, Tobe Hooper. Feeding the dog to the alligator, or the Manson Massacre, which was a cheap, horrible knockoff that makes the actual Manson massacres look like the Ritz-Carlton compared to.
Holy shit!
This was the scuzziest, most horrible movie ever. Lots of horror movies, lots of sex related movies, and a lot of adult movies like All the President's Men or Dog Day Afternoon. I don't think that I saw those too early. I think I saw them just at the right time. But by today's standards, they would be considered, something that other parents might question my parents, about. But I probably 95% of the movies.
I think in retrospect, I as a teenager, I rented every single bad horror movie you could think of on video. That's what I did every weekend, was watch bad horror movies. But when I was like 10 years old was the first time I saw the original Chainsaw. Which part of me, and it absolutely traumatized me. Like, after I saw that movie, I had something to fear, and it was that movie. So, but in retrospect, I probably definitely did watch it too young, but I'm glad I did, because that's one of those movies that made a lasting impression on me, and maybe it's lasted as long as it has because I watched it that young.
Yeah, certainly I feel that way about the movies that I watched. I'm talking about the good movies. You see, the movies that really traumatized me that just were the movies that just happened to be both horribly violent. The sex movies didn't bother me at all. That was great. It was great seeing tits on the screen when I was 7 years old or whatever. But it was the violence that really shook me, and it was particularly the violence in the movies that I thought were of lower quality, because even then I was getting together at kind of a critical viewpoint, and I knew quality from I knew shit from gold, So I mean, I could. It was those really shitty movies that were just they depressed me, not only in terms of the violence in them, but just the something about just the fact that they were even made and who made this? Like, who made this crappy movie? And how depressing is it?
Well, by the way, there's a movie like The Last House on the Left for me is like that, because I watch at least part of it outside of the Keystone Cops thing and the ridiculous parent revenge ending. The centerpiece of the movie where they're torturing them in the woods, that feels so real and just icky. And so I watch it, and I'm of two minds. I won't go back and watch it again, but I remember when I watched it that one time, I thought, this is undeniably effective. Like, it is, you cannot deny how powerful this is and how it absolutely hits the bullseye of what he's trying to do. And at the same time think, I wish this didn't exist. Like, it's kind of sickening that it works so well and that it's out there. It's like being suspicious and having a Ouija board. Like, get that board out of my house. I don't want it anywhere near me. I feel like that with Last House.
I feel that way about Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, which, of course, I saw much later in my life. But that watching that film really clued me in back, like, sent me back in time, to the time I was watching the Manson Massacre. Right. Yeah, that had the same effect on me. It was just like so scuzzy and so entirely, I mean, well done, but entirely pointless in some ways. But it is part of life, this strange evil that's out there, and so I guess it's worth delving into for some.
I think that's part of the thing. It's disturbing. I mean, the home invasion sequence is one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen on film.
Yes.
But I think that's to the John McNaughton's credit and Michael Rooker's credit too, that they really created quite a. It's like Requiem for a Dream. You watch it once, it's all those great. There's no reason to revisit it. It's so disturbing, and
but you know what? With Requiem, there's a little bit of a difference because there is a vast artfulness to Requiem that I don't think Henry quite has. I mean, Requiem.
No, of course not. No, but I don't. If I never saw Requiem for a Dream again, I'd be all right. I think it's brilliant. I think one viewing was more than enough. I mean, I will try to watch it again.
I could watch it again.
No, I understand that. But then again, if Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer was made with that level of artfulness, it would completely shave the edge of it.
I completely agree. I mean, it doesn't it doesn't have to be shot in sterling colors with CinemaScope and everything. It's better if it's scuzzy. It's more effective in terms of what it's trying to do. But
which is a weird dichotomy because it's almost like damning a movie for being so good.
Yeah.
Well, it is. But I mean, it is a weird thing to say. I mean, that was a tough movie.
It is. It's a very
as it should be. And I worry about anyone that actually watches that movie with regularity.
Yeah,
I mean,
I watch it every year.
Right. And I'm really concerned about you because if anything, that movie serves an important public service because it clues you in on who might be a psychopath by the number of times they watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm always curious, speaking of Henry, remember they made a sequel to that that's not related to the first one? I don't even think anyone from the original movie has anything to do with it, but they made like a direct-to-video sequel to it. And I'm always curious because I have watched it, always curious if the filmmaker of that movie got the point of the first one, even understood. Because it's like, you're watching it, you're just like, did you even understand the original movie? I mean...
Well, it's interesting. I credit John McNaughton for having done that movie, and I would imagine there was an internal dialogue with himself where he said, okay, I did that as well as could possibly be done. I'm going to do completely different movies now. Like, I'm not going to be...
And he did. He did. He did do a lot of, and a lot of fun movies and a lot of great episodic. I think he did a couple episodes of Homicide, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.